It's a very simple answer that the narrow gate is talking about being born again. And it's narrow gate because you have to pass through the gates and leave everything behind. And it's just like death, physical death that we know of in this world, that if a person dies, he can't really take anything with him, including his body. Everything is left behind. It's very narrow gate. You can't have a bulky baggage with you. You won't fit, including your body. That just doesn't fit. And so, kingdom of heaven, the narrow gates are the same thing, including your body. You have to put everything aside. So that's the narrow gate. But as soon as you enter the gates, then there's a path. And the reason it's a narrow path is because you have to stay focused. You have to stay on it. You can't wander left and right, because you'll immediately, as soon as you wander and start paying attention to something else, you will meander away from that path. And for us, that's what this is in faith. As we chose that path, as we were born again, we have to stay focused on our faith and not being distracted or becoming interested in things that are not on this path. And when we were talking about sanctification or things that we realize, that is the narrow path. Nothing unclean will enter the kingdom of heaven. And as we are on this path, we are taught how to believe. We are taught how to not be led by knowledge, but to be led by faith. It's the path of Jesus Christ that he took. He wasn't distracted by things of this world, though things were offered to him multiple times. As we can see, he grew up a normal person. He grew up with his family. Nothing unusual about him other than his spirit and other than his dedication to the word. That is before his ministry started. But as soon as he started it, that narrow path, it was a path of self-rejection. He was absolutely different. He would not be interested in things of this world. He would walk around and preach. He didn't have a place to put his head down. 30-year-old man. He was 30, young. He wasn't looking for a wife. He wasn't looking for a job. He wasn't looking to buy land, to invest in real estate. He didn't look to buy a bunch of donkeys or camels. And he didn't look to be a king, even though that was offered to him a couple of times. The narrow path was the fact that he was a stranger in this world. That's the path that we are on. It's a path of self-rejection, of learning how to be humble, of learning how to be completely in the service of God and His Spirit, which is exactly the opposite of the wide path, where you are taught to do things for your own good, for your own gratification, for your own self-fulfillment. The teaching of Jesus Christ is the narrow path. Every teaching out there is a path that someone walked. And then they said, I walk this path, follow me, walk this way. A path is just a teaching. What teaching do we follow? We know the teaching very well, all of us here. Have we decided to pass through those gates? That's the point where you make the decision. I'm going to do it. And you move away, you leave everything behind, and you trust that you'll be handheld on this path. And you are ready to shed everything that you have to shed when you enter. Then once you're on it, you still have to learn how to walk naked on this path, all the way to heaven, till you reach the river Jordan. The narrow gate is also baptism. You bury everything behind, and you'll come out on the other side new.